Hello.
Hello.
Hello, everyone. How are you?
Fine, everything
Fine,
okay?
I'm Eric. I know
Hi,
we
Eric.
spoke in the past, right? How are you?
Yeah. All good?
Okay. So we're gonna start to tee up our presentation right now. It's just after 2 p.m. I've been going so fast today, I don't even remember what time it is. So it's 2 p.m. here in Albuquerque, 1 p.m. in Tucson. I want to thank everybody for joining us today. Make sure we move this a little, get this corrected. Okay. And so thank you for joining us today. Today you're going to be joining us. We're giving you a presentation of our latest offering, our latest tour offering going down to South America, to Patagonia, Buenos Aires, and Iguazu Falls. We've worked very close with our partner who's based in Buenos Aires and who's very pleased to join us today. Just a little bit of background on who we are. So Pleasure Bed Tours and Sun Tours, we're located here in Arizona and New Mexico in the United States. We've been in business this is our 46th year in business, so we're really proud of that. Taking folks on destination tours all over the world for 46 years. So we have an office in Albuquerque and an office in Tucson. And we're very pleased to offer this, which is a mostly inclusive offering, which has all the airfare, of course, and air transportation, your ground transportation, all your transfers. Most of your meals are included and all of your lodging, and certainly as regular, when you travel with us, all of your gratuities and a seasoned tour director and an escort who's going to be with you from the United States all through your trip back to the United States as well. So without further ado, I'm happy to pleased to pass this over to our partners in Argentina. So Angelica and Jorge, want to introduce them and kick it off to you guys to talk about our wonderful tour to South America, April 1st through the 14th of 2025.
Hello, good late afternoon for us. I hope everybody's doing okay. We're going to go through a brief description of the itinerary and the different places that you're going to visit on the tour. We've been to these places lots of times, so any doubts you have at any time, just go ahead and throw them at us. Just one question, do you want me to go through your PowerPoint, or are you going to go through it? I'm not sure if I can share the screen.
We just granted you the ability to share from your computer. So if you want to go ahead and run that presentation from your end, you should be able to do that.
Okay, let's see. Apparently I can. Good.
Yay. All right. Thank you.
Amazing technology. When it works, I love it.
So if you click the make it full screen, that'll be easy.
I'm trying to find out where, but let's see. No, the other way around. Sorry, I'm not too familiar with PowerPoint.
Yeah, so if you want to go to the presentation view, and then click on the far left one, you should then go into presentation mode.
Perfecto.
We did it.
Yeah, we did it. I need to get rid of you guys now, but apparently it works. Okay.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay, like Eric was pointing out, I would say three highlights of, I would call four highlights of the tour are basically Santiago, Southern Patagonia, and I'll go back into those later. Buenos Aires and Iguazu Falls. In my humble opinion, Southern Patagonia, Torres del Paine, Calafate, it would be one of the top 5 places to visit in the world. I'll go a little bit, I'm not a city guy, but I really enjoy Santiago with its urban atmosphere. It's got history, it's got, for a guy coming from the Pampas, it's got mountains, which is unbelievable. Santiago's a historical place. The city was founded over 300 years ago. It's part of the moving history of the colonization of our continent. Santiago was one of the main areas where the Spanish landed and started discovering, looking into other places of the American continent, of course, finding people that already lived there. They were not too good with the people that were living there, but that's a different story. There is a museum in Santiago which tells a little bit about that. You'll have a bit of the atmosphere of Santiago, taste its famous Chilean wines, a little bit of the history, and also a little bit of the culinary differences between Chile and Argentina. And although we're very close to Chile, the way we eat is different. So once you visit Santiago, you'll fly south to Punta Arenas. Punta Arenas it's on the Magellan Strait, very close to the end of the Magellan Strait, very close to the southernmost part of the American continent. Tierra del Fuego is an island, so the continent ends at the mouth of the Magellan Strait. Punta Arenas was also used as a base for the European communities to develop parts of Patagonia, the sheep, and when the steam engines were built, a lot of the ships that could go around the Magellan Strait would stop in Punta Arenas. From Punta Arenas, you go 300 kilometers straight north into Torres del Paine National Park. Torres del Paine is, again, like I said, it's a granitic massive located sort of outside of the backbone of the American continent, which is the Rockies and the Andes. It's got, if you look at the photograph, there's certainly different colors in the lakes. That's because the colors that look like were photoshopped are always are glacial lakes, and the other ones are just spring waters. So there's no there's no glacial milk. You will drive around Torres del Paine making strategic stops. There's always chances of finding some of Torres del Paine's iconic wildlife, including puma, mountain lions. You'll spend a full day and a little bit more in the park. The hotel's located in an amazing place with amazing views just by the Serrano River. And there's a lot of options to just walk out and find yourselves in an amazing atmosphere. One bit of a warning about Southern Patagonia and Patagonia in general, you can have 3 or 4 seasons in the same day. And I'm not kidding. It can snow and it can be 60 degrees on the same day. Once you go, sorry, I need to check. Slides. How do I get to the next slide? Okay, I'm stuck here. There, some of the facts. Yeah, Chile is the longest country in the world. For you to have an idea, Chile has borders with Peru in the north, Bolivia, and then the rest of the borders are all with Argentina. Chile has part of Tierra del Fuego and also part of the Atacama Desert and some of the tallest highlands in the world. That's one of the facts about Chile. We tease them. There's a lot of rivalry between Argentina and Chile. We tease them a lot about how thin their country is, that we could just push the mountains and send them into the water, to the Pacific. It is the end of the world, the southern tip of South America. One of the biggest differences between the southern tip of South America and the northern part of North America is that because it's so narrow, temperatures are a little milder because there's no continental effect. The Pacific and the Atlantic in some places are very close to each other, and south of Tierra del Fuego, they touch each other. Going back to the attractions, Perito Moreno Glacier, which you will visit about day 5 or 6, day 7, is one of the few advancing glaciers in the world. It is part of the Southern Continental Ice Field, which is the largest ice field outside the Arctic and Iceland. This glacier advances to a point that it cuts a lake in half, making one side of the lake rise. And when the glacier cannot hold the pressure of that water, it breaks. So the glacier gets a tunnel in the middle, and this ice bridge also falls into the lake, which is quite impressive. It used to happen every year, and now it happens every once in a while. Then that's for you to have an idea. It's one of the, I don't know, there's like 200 kilometers, 120 miles of continental ice field, and all the continental ice field calves glaciers into lakes and the ocean. For the other big point of interest is Iguazu Falls. Iguazu Falls, if I had to choose one place to show in South America, would probably be Iguazu Falls. There are other Patagonias in the world, but Iguazu Falls, it's unique. We share Iguazu Falls with Brazil. The Iguazu River is an international border between Brazil and Argentina, and the falls are impressive and huge. Right now, I don't know who's familiar with the floods that are going on in Brazil. Some of the water that's flooding Brazil will go through Iguazu Falls and will make its way all the way to Buenos Aires, because the Iguazu Falls, the river falls into the Paraná River, and the Paraná River mouth is in Buenos Aires. Already talked about a little bit about Chile. Santiago is a very modern city, although it's got its own parts. Santiago de Chile has become, in the last, I would say, 20, 30 years, a very important financial market. And there's a lot of trade going on, especially because they're, of course, a huge fruit producers, also minerals, and also fish. And they export a lot. They export a lot of copper and lithium also, which is one of the fashionable minerals right now in the world. We talked about Santiago and its food. We talked about Punta Arenas and the lakes and how far and the colors of the lakes. Some of the wildlife you also see are condors. Also in Santiago, Santiago has an area of Santiago which is called Las Condes. It's a high-end neighborhood closer to the mountains where you can usually see condors from there. Okay, once you cross into Argentina, which is a land crossing, you will be driving into Argentina from Torres del Paine. You'll visit Calafate. Calafate is right now a large city in the southern part of Patagonia. It has become, since the airport was built in Calafate, which is already about 25 years ago, it has grown fast, and it's been receiving a lot of immigration from other parts of the country. What you see in the photograph is the Perito Moreno Glacier that is moving towards the viewpoint where you would be standing. You would also do an excursion in a ship that will take you to see some of the other glaciers. The Uppsala and the Spegazzini glaciers are glaciers that are receding. There's going to be a lot of icebergs in the water. The Spegazzini Glacier, in my opinion, is one of the most spectacular ones because, unlike the Perito Moreno Glacier, it falls up a little bit more dramatically into the Lake Argentino. The Glaciarium Ice Museum, I think it usually gives you a very good panoramic view of the ice field and also explains a little bit about the glaciation and how much of Patagonia was covered in glaciers 20, 30,000 years ago. You then go to Estancia Nivepoaique. Estancia Nivepoaique is located on the Argentino Lake, and it's one of the portals into a very remote part of the glaciers. You'll have an experience with the gauchos that are, of course, our countrymen, our cowboys. There's a gaucho culture all around the country and also I would say also that this covers also Chile and Uruguay and Brazil, where the gauchos have a lot of things in common, but differences between the regions. From El Calafate, you're going to fly to Buenos Aires. Buenos Aires is a very, very large city. Buenos Aires and suburbs hold over 1/3 of the total population of Argentina, which is around 45 million. The city itself holds around 3.5, and it's very cosmopolitan. There's a restaurant pretty much in every block in town. As any big city, it's got its advantages and disadvantages. Crowds are usually a thing. Traffic is also a thing. But you know, the timing of your movements is going to be decided depending on the days of the week and the times where the traffic is less. For example, the city tour and the arrivals to and in from the airport. Buenos Aires, we have a discussion here with the Uruguay about the tango. We say that tango was invented or created in Buenos Aires. Uruguayans discuss that and say that it was also part of the cultural movement of Montevideo. Probably, you know, the truth lies halfway. So you will go to a tango show where you will see some of the top dancers in the world. You will also have the chance to visit the Pampas. Pampas is a word that came from one of the native tribes of Argentina. The Pampa means flat land. When you drive out of Buenos Aires, or even when you fly into Buenos Aires, you will see how flat this is. There is no elevation, even if you drive. In some places, if you drive 1,000 miles, you'll be like 100 feet or 200 feet above sea level. Then at the end of a tour, you're going to fly to the northeastern part of Argentina. Argentina is not as long as Chile, but it is long. So we go from the sub-Antarctic to the subtropics. We have no area of the country which is not subject to a frost once in a while. In this case, the Iguazu Falls are located in the subtropical area. It's the forest that surrounds it is part of the Mata Atlántica ecosystem, which is Atlantic subtropical forest that we share with Brazil and parts with Paraguay. Your hotel is located inside the national park, which is a huge advantage because you can walk to the falls at any time. Again, it is subtropical, so expect the weather to be humid, expect it to be hot, expect it to rain, and expect it to see, even as an example, the hotel had a problem with some of the howler monkeys that would steal things from the bar in the swimming pool. The place is amazing. I love it. It is one of the top destinations in South America. And that's why we recommend this hotel, because there's a lot of buses coming into the park, but only the people that stay in the park can enjoy the early morning and the afternoon hours. The park does close the trails at 6 p.m. But this will not bother you, and the gardens always have a lot of birds and even some of the mammals that are walking around. One of the things you're going to do is an excursion that takes you to pretty much, I would say, inside the falls. You'll get on a boat. You'll get absolutely soaked in the boat. The boat gets very close to the falls. They give you a rain poncho. Yeah, it works a little bit. You'll get soaked. They give you bags for your cameras. You're able to take photographs and then put your cameras away before they get you soaked. Then you go down the river for a while, where there's always a chance to see wildlife, and you're going through the rapids, and then they put you back on land in a dock, where you get on a big army truck, and you return to the hotel area on the truck, with chances of seeing the expert guides will tell you a little bit about the flora and fauna of during the whole ride. Then you'll return to Buenos Aires. Buenos Aires, you'll have a city tour. Buenos Aires is a little bit of everything. There's a little bit of old, a little bit of new, a little bit of very new, and there's a little bit of old neighborhood things going on, while at the same time, Buenos Aires is also, even more cosmopolitan than Santiago. The mix of cultures is visible everywhere, even in the people. You'll see you'll find places that look like a little bit like Italy, a little bit like France, a little bit like Madrid, Spain. And that's pretty much what we are. We are a mix of Aboriginals, of Spanish, Italian, a lot of Italian. Big differences are that the Italians that came to Argentina were Italians that came from north, from the, blank memory, but of the northern part of Italy. And funny thing about this is that because they were white and blue-eyed, those Italians were called gringos here. Gringos in Argentina are blonde and blue-eyed, and it's not the USA citizens that are called gringos. So there's a little bit of the cultural mixes are there. For a very long time, we had trouble feeding groups like yours, because there was no restaurant would open before 8 p.m. Unfortunately, that's been solved, and a lot of the restaurants now cater to international visitors and are either open all day, or their kitchens open at 5 o'clock. Okay, that's about pretty much it. I'm going to stop sharing the screen if there's any questions, or if there's anything that you like to clarify. If there's anything I skipped, or anything you want to know a little bit more about, just throw it in.
Yes, certainly. If anybody has any questions online, and you want to ask questions, just unmute yourself or send us a chat. We'll have this recorded, and it'll be up on our YouTube channel and available from a link on our website as well. So we're really excited to bring this group. Was there a question?
Did I miss anything?
Pardon?
If I missed anything, did I skip anything that I needed to say?
No, this is so let's see, we have a question from the audience. Do we get an
Yes.
escorted tour of the Recoleta Cemetery?
The Recoleta Cemetery, that's where Eva Perón is buried. It's one of the high-class cemeteries within the city. It's actually in downtown. And it's got mausoleums of a lot of, I would say, the significant people in the last almost 200 years.
So will we be making a visit to the cemetery? Could we build that into our itinerary?
Yes, we can. Yeah, and it's not hard. It's Recoleta is one of the stops anyway. So going into cemetery is of course a possibility.
Okay. Certainly and I've been to cemeteries all over the world, and some, depending on the terrain, can be somewhat strenuous, and to see all of the notorieties and the famous people and or their graves, I should say, and their headstones. So it kind of depends on how much walking you want to do in that specific place.
It is a very small cemetery.
Nice.
It's right downtown. I would say probably it's a little bit over 3 blocks in size. The entrance is in one of the typical tourist stops of the city tour. So it's right there. Not very hard to make a stop and include it.
Thank you.
Will we see penguins on the trip? That's a very good one. No. There's only one chance of seeing penguins, and with your itinerary, there's no time. The only place where you get close to where penguins are with this itinerary is Punta Arenas. There's an island about 2-hour boat ride away from Punta Arenas, where they have Magellanic penguins, which is it's the easiest to see in both Chile and Argentina. And sometimes there might be usually the macaroni or one of the other species, but not many of them. There's a king penguin colony in Tierra del Fuego, which is across the Magellan Strait from Punta Arenas, but it requires a full day. It requires a full day to get there. That king penguin colony is very new, by the way. There's not too many. There's actually no penguin colony, no king penguin colonies in the American continent, with that exception. That one started like maybe about 10 years ago with 10 pairs, and it's growing every day, every year. It's a private ranch. They charge a fee, but again, because you have to ferry to Tierra del Fuego, then drive like an hour and a half to the colony, it's something that has to be added into the visit. Not this time, sorry. There's always the next time.
Okay. Okay. Well, I don't see any more questions from the audience. Certainly want to thank you all for joining us. We're certainly taking reservations now for this tour. If anybody would like to join us, we'd love to have you aboard. We've rated this as an active tour, so expect some walking. Certainly, we have a number of intra-country or intra-continent flights, and it's quite a distance, of course, to get down to Santiago and to Buenos Aires. So that's why we've rated it as an active tour, certainly. Let us know if you have any questions. We're here, of course, Monday through Friday from 8:30 till 5:30 in the office. And if any questions, anything else?
Gracias and de nada.
Okay, well, thank you very much. We look forward to seeing you in just about 11 months from now. We appreciate your time here. And thank you, everybody, for your interest in booking our tour. We'll see you.
Excellent.
Excellent.
Have a nice day.
Bye now.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.